the top of our planet lies a kingdom of ice, a silent white expanse where the thermometer regularly screams past -50 degrees Celsius, and the sun disappears for months on end. For over a century, this frozen fortress was considered the ultimate no-go zone for heavy infrastructure. But today, a geopolitical and engineering titan is rising. Imagine a $100 billion steel artery stretching across thousands of kilometers of shifting permafrost, deadly glaciers, and unstable tundra. This is the Arctic Railway, a project so ambitious, so expensive, and so dangerous that many called it an engineering hallucination. We are talking about a train route that doesn't just cross the Arctic, it survives it, utilizing heating rails, floating track beds, and a level of mechanical resilience never before seen in human history. This is the story of how humanity is building a polar Silk Road to unlock the world's final frozen frontier. To understand the insanity of this project, you have to understand the ground it sits on. Most of the route crosses permafrost, soil that has been frozen solid for thousands of years. But permafrost is a lie. It isn't rock. It's a delicate balance of ice and silt. If you build a heavy railway on top of it, the heat from the train and the pressure of the tracks will melt the ice beneath. When that happens, the ground turns into a liquid slurry, causing the tracks to buckle and the train to derail into a muddy abyss. Engineers have had to move away from brute force construction. Instead of trying to keep the ground frozen through sheer hope, they are using thermosiphons. These are long carbon dioxide-filled tubes driven deep into the ground alongside the tracks. They act as passive heat exchangers, pulling warmth out of the soil and venting it into the cold Arctic air, essentially refrigerating the railway's foundation. In areas where the permafrost is too unstable to even drill into, they are experimenting with floating track beds, massive gravel embankments that distribute the weight of the train so broadly that the ground barely feels the pressure. In the Arctic, standard carbon steel isn't just a material, it's a liability. When temperatures plummet to -60 degrees Celsius, a phenomenon known as the ductile to brittle transition occurs. Essentially, the atomic structure of the metal locks up, and the steel loses its ability to flex. In this state, a rail becomes as brittle as glass. A single heavy freight train, weighing thousands of tons, hitting a small curve could cause the rails to literally shatter into fragments under the stress. To combat this, the Arctic Railway utilizes a specialized, ultra-high-performance, low-temperature steel alloy. By enriching the iron with precise amounts of manganese, vanadium, and nickel, engineers have created a cold-weather steel that maintains its flexibility even in the deepest, most soul-crushing freeze. But the cold brings a second, more insidious enemy: ice lensing and frost heave. Water seeps into the microscopic gaps between the rail and the sleepers, freezes, and expands with a force of up to 30,000 pounds per square inch, physically ripping the track assembly apart. To solve this, critical stretches are equipped with induction heating systems. These are electromagnetic coils embedded directly within the rail that keep the steel just a few degrees above freezing. This isn't just a passive railway. It's a living, self-warming organism that maintains its own internal temperature against the most hostile climate on Earth. Why spend $100 billion on a train in the middle of nowhere? The answer is simple: the Northern Sea Route. As the Arctic ice melts, the top of the world is becoming the shortest shipping lane between China and Europe. But ships need ports, and ports need railways. Russia's Northern Latitudinal Railway and China's Polar Silk Road investments are designed to connect massive natural gas fields directly to the global market. This is where the project hits its first major controversy. The price tag has ballooned so spectacularly that portions of the project have been shelved. In late 2025, reports emerged that the Northern Siberian Railway extension to China faced an eye-watering estimate of $644 billion due to the impossible terrain of the Altai Mountains. The world is watching a high-stakes game of chicken. Will the economic promise of Arctic oil and gas eventually outweigh the nearly $1 trillion cost of the infrastructure required to reach it? Beyond the bolts and the billions, there is a human story buried under the snow. In the Nordic sector, the proposed Arctic Ocean Railway has met fierce resistance from the indigenous Sami people. For the Sami, the tundra is their ancestral home and the vital grazing ground for their reindeer herds. A high-speed railway slicing through the heart of Lapland would act as a physical barrier, disrupting migration patterns and threatening their culture. This conflict highlights the ultimate Arctic paradox. The very project intended to connect the world may end up severing the ties of the people who have lived there the longest. The Arctic Railway is a masterpiece of thermal engineering and logistical willpower. From Octocong hammer systems used on bridge supports to AI-driven drones that monitor thousands of miles of track in total darkness, every inch of this project pushes the boundaries of what is possible. Whether it becomes a thriving corridor for global trade or remains a series of frozen white elephants, the Arctic Railway has already changed the way we think about our planet. We are no longer content to wait for the ice to melt. We are building the future right through it. The trains are coming, and they are bringing the heat to the coldest place on Earth. The Arctic Railway is a $100 billion gamble against nature. But would you take a train through a minus 60 degrees Celsius wasteland? Is the environmental cost too high? Or is this the inevitable future of global trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more of the world's most insane engineering projects, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Megaprojects Hub. Stay tuned, because next time we're heading to the bottom of the ocean to see a project that's even more ambitious than this one.